Yeah, and I think, I don't know, to that, can I say something? So Muhammad came with a new covenant, right? So when you compare the Quran, there are discrepancies between the message in the Bible and the message of the Quran. So it doesn't match. Then I would expect that if a new prophet comes with a new message, with a new covenant, there should be something in the old covenant that precedes and prophesies that a prophet like Muhammad would come with that precise covenant. So I wouldn't have any problem with someone having a vision.
So you want the Bible
Without
to
any-
cover the message of Islam?
Sorry?
You want the Bible to cover the whole covenant?
Since Muhammad came in the line of the Abrahamic religions, he should have come with a previous advertise or
But you
with
said
a previous
precise.
prophecy.
You said precise. So what do you want the covenant to cover?
So, but what you're saying is silly. So if someone, for example, sorry, I'm not taking your conversation. If someone, so you can apply the same thing. I can say now that I'm a prophet with a new message, and you all shall follow my message. You know, that doesn't make any sense. If I proclaim a new covenant, a new message, then I should give proof of that. And there should be prophecies about someone like me and the message I carry so that you can have proofs. Otherwise, he can come and say, I'm a prophet of God. Anyone can say that, particularly when you are bringing something new.
What about Deuteronomy? Like, it prophesizes prophet
Okay,
prophesizes. It spoke about also Moses, and it spoke about Jesus, and then it spoke about it spoke about the Lord's coming to Mount Haran.
okay, Deuteronomy, I guess you are referring to Deuteronomy 18, right?
I think it's 33.
Thank you, I appreciate it. Okay,
So who is mentioned?
Deuteronomy, which chapter?
I don't know which chapter, but 18.
So there is Deuteronomy 18.
So I missed the conversation. I assume it's that.
Yeah. Deuteronomy 18. So when you see, there's Deuteronomy 18:15, which says, the Lord your God will raise up for you a prophet like me, that's Moses, like me, from among your own brothers. You must listen to him. Okay. What is for you a prophet like me? That's Moses. Moses is saying, the Lord will raise a prophet like Moses. So when you see Deuteronomy and the previous scriptures, the previous Exodus, Leviticus, and Numbers, so you see that, and that's what my friends say. For example, Moses spoke to God face to face. Moses performed miracles because God worked through him.
No.
You don't see that with Muhammad. Muhammad didn't have direct contact with God.
Why you say Moses spoke to God and then he spoke to Jesus?
Sorry?
Why do you say Moses spoke to God and he didn't speak to Jesus?
Moses did not what?
You say Moses spoke to God directly, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
So why didn't you say Moses spoke to Jesus?
Moses spoke to Jesus. So why don't you stick to the point? So you are claiming that according to Deuteronomy, yeah, I believe Jesus is God.
So why didn't you say Moses spoke to Jesus directly?
Yeah. I see the presentation.
Yeah, why not? That would be a question for you to answer. But since you are the one who is using Deuteronomy to say that Deuteronomy proves Muhammad, you have to tell me in which sense Deuteronomy proves Muhammad.
It speaks about it speaks about Sinai, so the Lord, the message comes through Sinai, and then it will come through Siyah, which is like Jordan today, and then it will come to Mount Haran. Mount Haran is very known today in Mecca and Medina.
To break that one down.
So it tells you that there's two prophets that come after Moses from those two areas.
Yeah, but even Paran, which is not proven that Paran is in the Arabic Peninsula. So what you see is, according to Deuteronomy, a prophet like me, Moses says, a prophet like me is a prophet that had direct contact with God, spoke face to face with God. He saw God.
But it could be like me, where he's coming with the same message. I believe in one God.
Okay, what's a message?
Believe in one God.
So believe in one God. Well, the message that was entrusted to Moses was very large with lots of laws. For example, laws that require, for example, not to eat camel, but you are allowed to eat camel, right? So there is a discrepancy. So you say that you can believe that a prophet like me, so Muhammad could be a prophet like Moses with the same message. But Moses was entrusted with a message in which Jews were not allowed to eat camel meat. But according to the Quran, you can eat camel meat. It's different. It's not like me in that way.
So you believe that God can add things to the religion?
Yeah, but
Add things-
is that an answer to Deuteronomy? So is that an answer to Deuteronomy? So you are using Deuteronomy 18 to prove that Muhammad is prophesied in Deuteronomy. I want to know from your lips, in what sense do you prove that? How do you infer that interpretation?
Because I can only think of two prophets after Moses, Jesus and then Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Historically, in terms of like scriptures, in terms of you can call it even popularity. There's no one that comes close to his like when we talk about prophets, we talk about a message that comes with the prophets, right?
Okay.
So and it references those two locations. I can't think of any other two prophets after Moses. Jesus
Yeah.
and then Muhammad.
But you mentioned the word qualities, right? So in the book of Deuteronomy, I think it's 32, I can check it for you. When people say that they will wait for a prophet like Moses, the context is referring that people were afraid of God's voice. So Moses was the one who could approach God and had conversations with God directly. That's a prophet like him. So you don't have that fulfilled in Muhammad. Muhammad didn't have conversations with God directly.
He did, because we heard of Isra and Ma'raj. Isra and Ma'raj is basically the night when Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam met all the prophets previously and was and met with God.
So you believe that Muhammad saw God.
Yes, because God revealed to him the obligations upon mankind. So in terms of the prayers, initially it was a large number, and then the prophets advised Muhammad to go back to God and ask him to reduce the number. And that continued on until God put the obligation upon us to have 5 prayers.
Okay.
Yes, he has.
Okay. Even if I take that as a right answer, then we can infer from that you believe in a God that can enter creation and that you can see God.
No, I believe in a God that can communicate with prophets. Yeah.
Yeah, directly.
But like I'll give you an example of the
Yes.
communication directly.
Yeah, good. So you believe that night Muhammad saw God. Okay. My question to you is, do you believe then that God, because according to what I know, in Islam, you don't believe that God can enter creation, right?
But then again, God has given the choice when he chooses someone as a prophet, he gives them the choice of certain qualities.
Okay.
And he gave Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam the choice to either be a humble prophet, like which then again you can think of it like those are qualities that would take like that would be reduced to sort of like mankind in a sense.
Yeah.
So he chose that quality. He chose these qualities.
I could take that, but we have to, for example, you have to prove. I would say that Moses is true. Moses was a humble person, but then you have to prove that Muhammad was a humble person. Also, it encompasses Deuteronomy 18, and in the context of Deuteronomy, in other parts, Moses performed lots of miracles. According to what I know, the only miracle that is, in a way, mentioned somehow in the Quran is the split of the moon, right? But you don't have any proof of that. To the best of my knowledge, there is no proof of that. There is no evidence that at some point in history, the moon split. Would you like to prove that, or
I personally don't have the capacity to prove that to you.
okay?
But it is well documented. Yeah.
Okay. Because the miracles Moses performed were public miracles. They were seen by Egyptians and by Jews and thousands of people. So it was testified by friends and enemies of God, of God's people. So, and that's a requirement. So, for example, when the Jews wanted Moses to speak to God and they didn't want to approach God, it's because they were afraid of God, because they saw fire upon Mount Sinai. So it means that the miracles God performed through Moses were public miracles. The only miracle you can infer from the Quran is a miracle that I don't think is public.
So, okay, so do you believe and do you agree that Moses was a prophet?
Sorry?
Do you agree and believe that Moses was a prophet?
Yeah.
Why is he not God?
Why?
Now you're putting the standard, right, of what a prophet like me. Okay? So let's just say you said prophet like me, because you said now that Moses was given miracles and so forth, yeah? And now you're kind of detesting like Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam and his miracles and what he was able to do, capability wise, yeah? So then when Moses says a prophet like me, now we look to Jesus. Jesus was given miracles, right? To perform.
Yes.
So why do you not set the same standard with Moses as you set it with Jesus? So you put Jesus as God, or you put Moses as a prophet. But they both have
Okay.
miracles.
So what you're trying to say is that if Moses, so I'm trying to understand what you are asking me. So you are asking me that I don't believe that Moses is God, but he performed miracles. Then why not? Why do I believe that Jesus is God when he just performed miracles in the same way Moses performed miracles? Okay. Yeah, because Jesus had authority. So Jesus claimed to be God. Jesus claimed the title of Son of Man, which is a divine title according to Prophet Daniel.
But then again, if Jesus claimed that he was Son of God, why did he not know the hour, first and foremost? And why did who was he calling upon if he's God? Who would he call upon if he's God?
Yeah.
Like if he's God, he should surely know everything, right? Because God is all knowing. So
Yeah.
why would you not know the hour?
So
I don't want to be on camera. I don't know that. Why that?
Yeah, you ready?
yeah, I thought that you were talking. Yeah. So, but again, this is not the first time I hear Muslims saying, Muhammad is prophesied in the book of Deuteronomy, because Deuteronomy 18, verse 15 says a prophet like me. So, but like me also includes among your brothers, Jews, also direct contact with God. He spoke with God, and also he performed miracles. So these are the requirements according to the book of Deuteronomy.
I was quoting there's a person in Deuteronomy that speaks about those three locations. I was quoting the one that you quoted about the prophet like me. It's talking about those three locations. Sinai, and
Okay, well, you claim that. Can you show me that? But you raised the question. So,
where's Mount Paran today? Where's Sinai and West Sinai? Does that refer to the leading prophet? Does that refer to a prophet that has moved around those areas?
still, imagine, based of cases, imagine Paran was in the Arabian Peninsula. You still have to prove the other requirements, that Muhammad had direct contact with God, he performed miracles, public miracles, and so on. But you are the one who is claiming that Deuteronomy, according to a geographical context, that proves that Muhammad was prophesied and is a true prophet. So I'm not claiming that. You are claiming that. Then
You know that case from Arabia.
from Arabia, well, you have to prove that the Bible, the Old Testament, is saying that a prophet must come from Arabia. Show me that.
So I'm asking you, who do you believe are those two other what do you interpret that verse of?
So the word Paran, I believe, was not necessarily in Arabia. So there are many locations like Sela that Muslims use to prove that Muhammad would come from Arabia to say that, yeah, the Bible, the Old Testament in particular, proves that there should be an Arabian prophet. First of all, Deuteronomy is saying among your brothers. That's referring to a Jew, not an Arab, a Jew. Deuteronomy 18 verse 15 says that a prophet among your brothers, among the Jews, should be a Jew. Now you, the burden of proof is upon your shoulders. It is you who has to prove that Param.
What's your interpretation of it?
My interpretation is that there are many locations with the same name. So you are the one
So
who's.
what does it mean? What does that verse mean? What is it telling you?
You show me the verse. I don't even know the verse you are pointing to.
What does that verse mean to you? Is it referring to two other verses?
I think this is not exactly fair.
Why am
You told me. So the conversation was like that. I told you, if Muhammad is a prophet of God and he comes in the line of the Abrahamic religions and he came with a new covenant, I would say that he has to be prophesied in order for us or for people to believe that he's a prophet of God. Otherwise, I can claim to be a prophet and I can claim to have a new covenant based on a message that has been given to me and to me alone. So there should be something prior to my coming that prophesies that I would come to the world with a new message. Now, you are the one who believes that. You are the one who is claiming that Deuteronomy proves that. Now, show me how Deuteronomy proves that.
today? So Sinai, you know where Sinai is. Sinai is proving that Jordan is Palestine, Jordan. We know that Jesus came from there. We know that. Okay, now it's now referring to another location. So now we have another person that we have to take into consideration. So Mount Paran today is known as Medina.
Show me. So, okay, that's your claim.
The proofread. I didn't come today to like.
Okay,
But what I'm saying, let's just take that for argument's sake. Mount Paran expecting Medina. Who do we know historically that came out of that location? With another message, with another religion. Okay, with another religion.
you prove it. Prove that Param is referring to that particular location in Arabia.
You can research it. There's a lot of research on it.
Well, show me.
How can I show you? Just you have to do it in your own time.
Yeah, but you are making the claim.
No,
So,
before you know that, that's right.
okay, if you want, you can come next week and we can talk about it. But what I'm not going to do is a research that I don't support. Do you know what I mean?
No, but you can also research where's Mount Paran today. You start if you don't. If you, that's just like me trying to.
But again, I didn't mention that mount. I didn't mention that mount. You mentioned that mount to prove your case.
Just one. That's just one proof to show that there is a prophet to come out of that region.
To cover that region. Yeah, but show me where in the Bible, the Old Testament, shows that in that region, precisely in that region, should come a prophet. When you are using a text that is saying that that prophet should be a Jew. Was Muhammad a Jew?
He was like a lineage. Consider them as puzzles.
So even according to the Old Testament, the Jews never consider brothers anyone except the Jews, and the only nation, as far as I can remember, that they can call brothers to them was I don't remember, but I think the nation that is related to Esau, right? Anyway, but never the Arabians. The Arabians are not considered brothers.
There is like messenger and in the go into it, but I can explain that to you later.
Okay. I guess if you want to come next week, I will be here next week. We can talk about it. Probably you want to prove that the Ishmaelites, would that be the case? That the Ishmaelites were somehow related to the Jews and Muhammad was an Ishmaelite. That's probably the case you want to make. Okay. If you want, you can come with that either now. I will be here next week. You can come up with that and we can talk about it. But I don't believe the Ishmaelites were necessary Arabs. They are not the fathers of the Arabians. And even if that was the case, when the Bible refers to the Ishmaelites, it's not talking about among the Ishmaelites, there would be a new religion. Because I heard that before. But I can understand that probably you need to read something. If you
What does it, you know, in the Deuteronomy it talks about 10 conditions about Pharaoh, it would be 10,000 saints, right?
I think I know what you mean, 10,000. The reference to that is, as far as I know, angels. Angels. So, and that's referring to the covenant given to Moses. So there are a couple of verses, I think, in the Old Testament, and there is also a reference in the New Testament to that. And it's always referring to angels. So God came to that mount and he entrusted the law of Moses in the company of thousands of angels. That's what the text says.
Well, he references Sinai, which is referring to Moses. Then he moved on from Moses. Now he's speaking about Sinai, which is what we deem as Jesus, Prophet Jesus. And then he moves from Sinai to Mount Paran. He links 10,000 to Mount Paran, doesn't link it to Sinai.
Who is linking that?
In the text, 10,000 is referring to the messenger coming from Mount Paran, not from Sinai. Sinai, we've moved on from that. It's not referring now to Moses at all. It's referring to Mount Paran. And whoever's coming with the message from there.
Okay. Let me check if we, just to know if we are talking about the same. So there is a psalm that says, Psalm 68, verse 17, the chariots of God are 20,000, even thousands of angels. The Lord is among them and is in Sinai, in the holy place. And also, for example, Galatians in the New Testament, Galatians 3:19, is referring and he's saying, why then was the law given at all? Given at all. It was added because of transgression. Why then was the law given? It was given alongside the promise to show people their sins, but the law was designed to last only until the coming of the child who was promised. God gave his law through angels to Moses. I don't think that's talking about Muhammad.
That's not the one.
Who was the mediator? Then you have to tell me which verse are you referring to. Deuteronomy? Chapter 3. Okay. Wait, is it the same 3 verse 32 or 33 verse 2?
You would know better.
Okay.
The word anahu.
So you talking about?
Yes, anahu.
So I'm trying to explain to him that they speak about basically prophesying.
So there is no chapter 3 verse 32. It finishes before. There is chapter 32 verse 2. Let my teaching fall like rain and my words settle like dew like gentle rain on new grass and showers on tender plants. That's what it says.
Yes, yes. You said,
Ah, 33.
Yeah. That's,
Okay. Sorry.
I preach to you. Read it. You need to talk about it.
Oh, he said, the Lord came from Sinai and he appeared to them from Seir. He shone on them from Mount Paran and came with 10,000 holy ones, that referring to angels, with lightning from his right hand for them. So, okay, I'm trying to understand what you're saying. Are you saying that this is in reference to Muhammad?
yeah, because there was a historic event that took place. Yeah.
Okay, let's read the verse. Again, I'm going to read it. He said, the Lord came from Sinai and appeared to them from Seir. He shone on them from Mount Paran and came with 10,000 holy ones, with lightning from his right hand for them. So this is in the time of Moses, talking about the past. So this was written before the coming of Muhammad, and he's talking about something that already happened in the past.